Hello everyone. 여러분 안녕하세요. 또 운전 중에 이렇게 라이브 스트리밍 하게 되네요. Vlogmas Day 7, Merry Vlogmas. Yeah, another driving live stream as I'm a bit busy as well on a Monday today. And I am angry. 저는 원래 화를 잘 내지 않고 짜증나는 상황이 많이 안 생기는 것 같아요. 제 인생에 운 좋게 fingers crossed. 근데 오늘 너무 화난 일이 있었어요. 한국 주차 문화 때문에. Yeah, I'm a bit cross because in part due to Korea's parking culture, I suppose I could blame a little bit for it. So today I thought I'd talk about Korea's parking culture. 그 문화도 약간 외국인들한테 소개해드리고 좀 특이한 거 많아요, 한국 주차 문화에. And then also 한국말로 부재중 전화, 영어로 어떻게 쉽게 꼭 비슷한 표현은 아닐 수도 있어요. 어떻게 보면 부재중 전화, 직역은 아니에요. So I thought we'd talk about that. First, why I am cross. I parked at my usual place of work, and here in Korea, it is very common in crowded parking spaces for other cars to park in front of your space in the area of the car park or parking lot, as you say in the States, where cars drive, right? And so you're blocked in basically. But the other part of the culture which allows this in terms of parking is you leave your parking brake or hand brake, as we say in the UK, you leave that off. And so you can push the cars, and there's not too many mischievous people who just push the cars for fun. And you just trust one another to push the car out of the way safely without smashing it up or anything, and then you drive your car out. But the person didn't leave their parking brake off, and the other part of parking culture which they completely disrespected was everyone in Korea leaves their mobile phone number in the windshield, and this little did not. And so there was no way of tracking who this was. I asked the parking guys or the guards who opened the gate to let cars in and out, and they had no idea, and they were a bit clueless. And so I had to rush out and get a taxi and then take my wife's car, which is basically my car, the one that you've been seeing me driving a lot, but I wasn't planning to drive it today. So I needed a bit of a bigger one for all my clothes and stuff. And so I am very cross. That's the parking culture in Korea. Leave your handbrake off if you double park, and other people just push your cars around like dominoes sometimes. You need to push 3 or 4 cars out sometimes. It's like a little game almost. And then, yeah, leaving your number in the windshield is essential when parking it anywhere almost, just in case someone needs to call you for moving it or saying they hit it or asking why you parked here. It's essential to put your phone number there. So they sell all sorts of little gadgets and gizmos and little cute little things to write down your phone number on or display it, even some electronic ones. 네, 제가 오늘 주차 때문에 누가 저를 막았어요. 근데 번호도 안 넣고 파킹 브레이크도 안 풀어서 지금 택시 타고 또 딴 차 타고 있어서 너무 화나요. 근데 그거 하다가 그 앞에 무슨 명함에 번호 있었어요. 그래서 그 번호한테 전화했는데 그 무슨 자동차 복원 회사였어요. 전혀 그 차랑 상관없는 거. 그래서 그 사람이 제 전화를 못 받고 다시 전화했을 때 부재중 전화 있어서 전화 드렸다고. 그래서 생각났어요. 부재중 전화, 영어로 simply missed call, 놓친 전화 통화, right? 통화, 놓친 통화, 직역하면 missed call, M-I-S-S-E-D, call, missed call 라고 하면 돼요. A missed call in Korean, guys, just FYI, is 부재중 전화. I think 부재중 means you are away, right? So you can use that for when you're away from the office or away from the desk. And 전화 means either phone physically or a phone call as well. So 부재중 전화 missed call. missed call은 놓친 전화라고 생각하면 돼요. I'm on the way to do some filming today. I hope this double chin doesn't come out. I hope the makeup artist can do something about that. For the new project that I was talking about. Teaching some Korean with Korean on me. So we'll see how that goes. A long day of filming that today. I am de-stressed. I don't usually stay cross for long because I don't know, I think I've just got that kind of personality to not stay crossed for long. I find it really difficult to actually prolong stay cross at anyone. And also listen to this expert talking about it, a guy who's really into like meditation and stuff, Sam Harris. Some of his views are said to be controversial, but I think if you listen to the fullness of what he's talking about, he's a very well-informed guy, a very clever guy. And anyway, he was talking about anger, you know, and people who get angry and have road rage and stuff like this. All you need to do is look at your anger, like in that moment, just take a few seconds. That's the hard part, taking a few seconds to step back and think, what is this anger? What is this feeling? Why am I feeling it? Who does this benefit? And then it kind of just dissipates. You're just like, oh, well, that's not worth it. There's no point doing that. Hi guys, just reading the chats here. Hey Josh, hey Lita, hey fans, hey Siska, hey Lilith. Again Siska, sorry we couldn't show your video today. It kind of just got mixed up with everything really. And it was also a case of we didn't have enough time. We ran over by a minute accidentally in terms of me chatting away. So I do apologize for that. 네 여러분, 저 이제 많이 캄다운 됐어요. 이렇게 얘기하고 저도 원래 성격상으로 이렇게 오랫동안 화 안고 있지 않아요. 원래 성격도 그렇고 좋은 조언 한번 들었어요. 샘 해리스라는 meditation expert, 명성가 그러나요? meditation 저도 잘 모르지만 그 전문가가 그렇게 얘기했어요. 진짜 화날 때 그런 사람들 있잖아요. 그 화를 잘 가라앉을 수 없는 사람들, 그냥 잠깐만, 이게 어려운 시점이에요. 화나는 중에 잠깐 생각해 보세요. 그 화를 한번 자세히 생각해 보세요. 이거 무슨 화지? 누구한테 이게 도움되는지, 왜 그러는지, 그렇게 잠깐 화를 돌아봤을 때 금방 풀더라고요. 진짜로요. 엄청 화날 때도 그냥 잠깐 스톱하고 이거 왜 그러는 거지? 그러면 금방 뭐 사람 용서도 되고 다른 상대방이 본인한테 나쁘게 했을 때 yeah, it's a really good tactic, I feel. Okie dokie. Yana becomes nagging instead. Oh dear. What a fuzzy bear. It's Fuzzy Bear there. Fuzz. Yes, K, fun and challenging. I'd say more fun than challenging most of the time. The challenging things mostly come when I'm doing like translations maybe and corrections. Corrections is perhaps the most challenging. I do like a lot of work doing the final read-through, proofreading, right, for things that have been translated from Korean to English. And that is challenging in that it's not difficult. Well, it is difficult, but the reason it's difficult is the work itself is not difficult. It's the fact that you can't miss one mistake. You have to read everything. And when a document gets like, I don't know, to hundreds of pages, you've got to keep your eye on the ball, so to speak. You've got to make sure you've read each sentence, not on autopilot, because your brain often goes into autopilot without even knowing it, to be honest, yeah. You're nagging us all, Yana. It's a spiffy compact car. Someone talked about this leather before, Josh. This leather is just actually, what do you call it? It's not standard with the car. the previous owner, who was a friend, I bought it off Hyung, an older male friend. He had it put in for his wife. But I don't even know if it's good quality. I'm not really sure, but in Korea, if you get one of the Korean brands of cars, they have like these custom seats for each model because they know the shape and size of the chairs. It's not that pricey to get it done. Also, having your car wrapped, so to speak, you know, in a different color, that I heard costs about 100만 won, about 1 million won, so about $900, something like that, which doesn't seem like a bad deal to me, to be honest. You do miss out the little details though, like the insides of the door frame are usually the original color. But yeah, this is quite an old car. This must be about 7-8 years old. We bought it second hand when it was a few years old already, and we've been in it for about 4 years. So I'll give it away. It's a Samsung car, this one, SM3. And they've really come on leaps and bounds. They got a tie-up with Renault, so Samsung Renault, I think is how we pronounce it here in Korea. But yeah, they do decent cars. It's not the top Korean brand because obviously we got Hyundai and Kia. I keep thinking, could I say brand names? But yes, this is my channel. I can say whatever I like. But yeah, this brand of car's nice. The Hyundai brand has some great cars. They've got the first hydrogen car. I'm not sure if that's in the world, but definitely here in Korea. The Nexo, which is really lovely, and a long waiting list if you want to get your hands on one. And I think they also have nowadays, I've seen Renault cars with the Renault badge as well, which is really interesting. So I'm not sure if they're splitting up or if they're just doing a marketing thing, because Daewoo got taken over by Chevrolet, and for a while you could choose to have a Daewoo badge or a Chevrolet badge, and then they phased out Daewoo completely. I'm not sure what's going on with Samsung Renault, to be honest. Guys, I don't want to miss everyone's comments and stuff, but I don't know how much I'm going to be able to read today. No signs of the blame slowing down. Why so many shirts? Yeah, I got to do lots of different corners within this filming. Come on, Faz, be good with your anger management. Anger is such a wasted emotion. For me, that and worrying about something is the worst thing you can do, right? Because again, I got this advice from Sam Harris, and I use it with my kids, although it doesn't seem to work too well with them, but with myself, and I try it with adults, but if you're not open, then you won't get any benefit. But you got to be open to this. Think about worrying, right? 걱정하는 것. 이 감정은 진짜 쓸모 1도 없는 것 같아요. 왜냐하면 그 걱정하는 것은 뭐 쓸모 1도 없는 거는 아니죠. 걱정이 있는 이유가 사람을 뭐 좀 긴장하고 뭐를 꼭 해야 된다는 압박은 주지만 그 외에 너무 쓸데없는 걱정, 이런 걱정이죠. 뭐 치과 가야 된다 그러면 그 아픔 너무 걱정된다, 너무 싫어 너무 싫어. 애들이 특히 많이 하죠. 근데 어른들도 하잖아요. 근데 그렇게 하면 그 아픔을 당했을 때는 물론 아플 수 있고 울 수 있고 안 좋은 감정 받을 수 있는데, 그 전에 왜 미리 받아요? 사람들만 그러는 거예요. 동물들은 그런 거 예상을 못 하잖아요. 미래에 무슨 일이 있을 건지, 치과 예약이 있는지도 모르고, 치과도 물론 없지만 동물들은. 근데 사람들만 이렇게 2번을 걱정할 수 있어요. Yeah, so with the worry, the thing that I think is ridiculous, obviously worry is good in some ways, evolutionarily speaking, because it gets a person to focus on something and make sure they do something important, right? If you had no worry, everyone would be too laid back. But where I think is ridiculous and really superfluous, really meaningless, is when you're worried about, say, an operation or a doctor's appointment. What is worry there doing? Think about it, right? You are going to maybe be in pain, say if you're having a tooth pulled out or something, right? So during that procedure, sure, you could feel the pain and you could be upset, you could cry, and you could be in agony during what will almost inevitably be a short period of time, right? Maybe a few minutes, maybe an hour at most. But if you worry about that before, say a week before, and then you're worried every day, you keep on thinking about it, what a waste of time. You're going through that negative event voluntarily many times before. That's such a waste of emotion. such a waste of being in an unhappy state. So that's what I always say to my kids, like, don't worry about going to the doctor, because you're just living through this negativity more than once. You don't need to do that, right? It really doesn't work for them, but for me it works fantastically. So whenever I'm worried about something like that, or even like a work thing, I'll worry to the point where I do enough work in advance, like homework and preparation. But anything aside from that, I'll just forget it. I would just straight away deliberately stop thinking about it, because I'll be like, that's not going to benefit me anymore, that worry. So yeah, I hope that's a good life tip. I don't know why I'm getting so deep. Anyway. Hey, Raul, seat cover. Yeah, it is an actual seat that's now leather, but they took off the old one and put the leather one on. At least I think they did. Maybe they didn't. Okay, I'm trying to scroll up in the comments and not miss too many. Yeah, you do need to release the anger, Jan. You're right. I never keep the anger in. It's just I don't really get angry. Even with this guy who's blocked me in, I guess at the end of the day, c'est la vie. I assume they didn't mean that. They didn't mean to block me in and not leave a number. They probably thought I was there all day, parked in the building. And even if the security guards don't get his number and I don't get reimbursed for like inconvenience in terms of having to take a taxi back to my house and lug all this clothes around with me and blah, 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 that's cool. At the end of the day, I suppose, no big loss to me. It's not like I did have to take public transport and struggle with like 10 outfits and a big bag and stuff. So I try and look, all the time on the bright side of life. You know that saying, always look on the bright side of life, especially from the song from Monty Python. If you are that old or you've rewatched that British comedy classics, always look on the bright side of life. That song, it sounded, when I was smaller, younger, I used to think, what a load of rubbish, that's terrible advice. But it's such deep and meaningful advice, right? You always have the choice to look on the brighter side of life. Perspective is something that you control, right? It's harder for some than others, but you can always compare yourself to someone who's worse off than you, rather than someone who's better off than you. And if you do that, you appreciate your position much more. And there's only going to be one person in the world who is the very, very worst off, right? So aside from that person who my heart goes out to, you can always compare yourself to another person who's in a less good situation. Apologies for the terrible English. Did all the cars have cameras? Good stuff, Aim Lazy. Yes, we have black box, we call that, right? Black box records both the front and back. It's common for pretty much every car in Korea to have that, which, compared to England, I can tell you that's a much higher rate of penetration. And great for accidents because you have everything on record, so you know who was at fault and everything like that. Slowly but surely getting towards my destination. I'm in a really unfamiliar area of Seoul for me. Gangbuk-gu. Gangbuk meaning literally north of the river, but Gangbuk-gu goes from like quite close to the river to way far from the river. So up towards, I think, the borders of Bukhansan National Park, Bukhansan Mountain, the one that is behind Cheongwade, our blue house, and Gyeongbokgung. And then that mountain and the mountain park stretches for a long, long way. 외국 구독자들 되게 놀라는 것 같아요. 한국 그 주차 문화도 그렇고 파킹 브레이크 풀고 하는 거, 전화번호도 남기는 거 약간 사적인 거라고 생각하고, 외국에 잘 안 그래요. 전화번호 이렇게 앞에 남기는 거, 어떤 특별한 상황에 종이에 서서 이렇게 꽂이지만 원래는 이렇게 뭐 슈퍼에 파는 것처럼 번호 이런 작은 귀여운 판들 있잖아요, 한국에. 그런 것도 없고, 하고 또 뭐라 그러지? 블랙박스, 블랙불? 뭐 어떻게 줄임말이 있는데, 블랙박스 있는 차도 외국에 아직까지 많이 없어요. 특히 영국 같은 나라에. 근데 한국 사람들 거의 다 있으니까 되게 신기하죠. Hey, Christina. Hello. Okay, I don't think I missed too much. Good afternoon, Leon. Hello, Nido. I have to go back to the end and come back up. Sorry, Yana, that I'm live streaming during Ezek's show. It's just I didn't think I'd fit it in later. Yeah, here with the black boxes, they do record video automatically, and then they just write over that to, you know, not run out of space on the memory cards. It's quite amazing. And the other amazing bit of tech in my car, and in many, I would say most cars, is the high pass system we have here in Korea, right? High pass is the toll payment system, because many of our expressways are tolls. In the UK, most of the motorways, like 95% or more, are not tolls, so you don't pay any charges for them. But here in Korea, we have toll roads or toll gates on our expressways, and you can either get a ticket and pay by cash. And in my car and in many Korean brands of car, they have the high pass system where you put in your credit card for payment into it. That's built into my rear view mirror. How cool is that? And that's all wired up, so I don't need to worry about charging it or anything like that. In my foreign brand car that I have, the Citroen, we bought one online, so if your car doesn't have one, it's simply easy to do. Maybe costs less than 100,000 won, less than $100, and it's brilliant because it's wireless. You charge it up once at the beginning, and then you stick it on your windshield at the bottom in the middle, and it charges itself by solar power. You only have to recharge it maybe once a year, something like that. It's unbelievable. Anyway. Oh, you got black boxes, Josh, but how many cars do you think have black boxes in terms of percentage? Here in Korea, like I said, I think it's the vast majority. Patient with preschoolers, sub Christina, that is not easy to do. Like, even patient with my kids is difficult to do. I got so angry yesterday. 그런 유치원 선생님들 진짜 대단한 것 같아요. 인내심 같은 거. 어제 너무 화났어요. 딸이 어제 추워서 잠깐 밖에 나갔을 때 스키 바지 입고 나가자고. 근데 추워도 안 입는다고. 그것 때문에 그냥 뚜껑 열렸어. I blew my top, you can say in English. 뚜껑 열렸다. 똑같아요. blew my top. 여기 톱과 뚜껑이라고 생각해서 이렇게 폭발됐다. 약간 이렇게 팍 열었다. Blow your top in Korean is 뚜껑 열었다. You opened your lid. I did that with Ellie yesterday. I was trying to get her to wear ski pants when we were outside, and she was like, nope. It was freezing, and she was like, nope. And I was like, you gotta wear them. You can't reason with kids sometimes. They just don't want to. And there's a thin line being a parent, and I'm sure a preschool teacher, between trying to be reasonable with them, but then if they are totally unreasonable, like it's cold but they want to wear shorts, like you can't just let them do that, right? At least you can't let them do that regularly. Maybe once to say, look, here's the lesson, you are freezing, right? And it's so difficult. Where do you draw that line? Because at the end of the day, they're human beings. Like, you wouldn't force a friend to wear a jacket. You couldn't, right? They're an adult. If they wanted to wear a t-shirt and you were like, you shouldn't, you wouldn't force it on them, would you? So I don't know, it's pretty difficult. Do humming guests right now. I want to set it up properly. I could do just one for fun without any presents, right? Okay, let's think about one. Doesn't kill you, right? So don't worry, it'll pass. It'll pass is a good one. Thanks, Tiger, for being on. Kia Soul. Oh, Kia Soul used to be my car when it first came out. Okay, Tiger, thank you for being on board. I just don't want to miss anyone's. Cam. I didn't have adjustable suspension, but it was and is an oddly shaped car, the C4 Picasso. I have the 5-seater one, not the 7-seater like Tourer, which is much more practical, but we didn't get it because it was a bit too big for my wife to be comfortable driving that around all the time. But now we're looking for an upgrade soon, like a 7-seater, because we often have my Uncle Bob coming over from the UK and stuff. So it is going to be bigger, like it or not. 여러분 어제 올렸던 요리 영상 있죠? 그 크리스마스 디너. 그거 파트 2, 파트 3 아마까지 있을 것 같은데요. 비완성 느낌은 그거예요. 약간 파트별로 올렸어요. 너무 오래 걸릴 것 같으니까. 어제는 고기를 구울 때 어떻게 하면 잘 구울 수 있어. 그런 팁들 알려드렸어요. 치킨, 닭고기하고 삼겹살 통으로 구웠을 때 영국식으로 되게 맛있게 할 수 있는 법들이에요. Are you going to work and music? I am going to, yeah, my second job. I've only got 2 jobs today to do some filming, but it's going to take maybe 7 hours today. We'll see. I don't have an SUV. It is just like a family car. SUV is what we're looking at for next, but anyway. There is a bit of traffic, but it's not too bad at this time on a Monday. Yana listening to Isaac and me at the same time. I'm sorry, guys. If you want to watch Isaac, of course, go and watch Isaac. I don't want to detract from her banter on there. But yeah, when am I meant to live stream? If I think about DJ Joe at 10 p.m. and everybody else in the other time slots, difficult. I'll just live stream when there's something pre-recorded on Adidang. Should that be the general rule for Adidang DJs? Don't live stream when there's another Adidang show. 지금 강북구 왔는데요. 저 원래 이쪽 안 와요. 생전 처음인 것 같아요. 이쪽 완전 북쪽이에요. 강북구 중에도. 그래서 그 북한산인 것 같은데 너무 이쁘네요. 오늘 그래도 미세먼지가 조금 안 좋지만 그래도 이쁘니까 미세먼지 없는 날에 진짜 대단할 것 같아요. 그 나무 없는 그 돌들 볼 수 있을 때 그 배경이 아주 아름다워요. So beautiful seeing Bukhansan Mountain in the background. Bukhansan Mountain is pretty famous for having a few of those jagged little peaks that are not covered in any trees or foliage at all. Most Korean mountains, the majority of them are covered. The majority of the mountains themselves are covered in foliage. But this one at the peak, it has these beautiful, like white, creamy coloured rocks just sticking out, which look absolutely stunning. Nearly at my destination, so I will be bringing this live stream to an end. Passengers, please put your seatbelts on, return your tray tables to their upright positions as well as your chairs. We will be landing shortly. Let's take a look at some of the chats. I'm stuck at a light. Trying to scroll up and not miss anyone. I don't want to miss anyone, sorry. When you're not live streaming, do you play music while you drive? Yes, at the very beginning of this live stream there was some music, and I hope it doesn't get picked up by YouTube, but I always listen to either music or podcasts. Depends on my mood, but I'd say the majority podcasts, yeah. Be safe, thank you very much. Fave brand car, Peter. Fantasy-wise, Porsche, Raul, is the answer. And I wouldn't mind a Panamera for the family. And then realistic-wise for our next car, edging towards a Ford, actually. Maybe the Explorer, I think. But again, in that realm, maybe fantasy-wise, it would be a Range Rover or a Land Rover. But the price, and then sometimes they can be unreliable. It's not so good. War from in black. Is there declaring war? Oh dear. Loads of chats here, thank you. Next vlog will be on public transport. I hope not, Cam, because I don't think people would appreciate doing that. Vlogging. Lilith, I'm very sorry. To Isaac again. Why did you tell her I'm live streaming? Did she see it pop up? Whoops-a-daisy. Okie dokie. will try as ever to not leave any messages unread, no stone unturned, in my quest to vlog my way through Vlogmas Day 7. This is right out in the sticks. I'm still officially in Seoul, but there are parts of Seoul that almost look like they could be in the countryside, with the mountains like just on the edge, and in some cases the mountains in the city itself, right? So, here's where we get to problem, because I've got navigation on my phone, but just a little widget because I'm doing the YouTube live stream. So I put it on the car navigation. Many cars have that separately. Again, I'd say the majority, but they're going in opposite directions now. But I do trust my phone navigation a bit more because it's up to date. So I'm going with that one. Let's see who wins the war of the navigations. I think I've got to go up another little gear, which looks like a bit of a hill. Let's see where this takes me. Oh dear. I don't know why I'm struggling. I'm not walking up this hill, am I? 감나무 있네요. There is a persimmon tree up there, which looks absolutely beautiful. Persimmons that I don't know if you're just allowed to take them because it looks like it's on the road rather than in someone's garden. 감도 여러분 persimmon이라고 해요, 한국말로. 그것도 뭐 외국에 특히 영국 같은 경우에 잘 안 먹는 과일이에요. 그렇게 많지도 않고. 거의 다 왔는데 어디로 가야 될지 모릅니다. 아이고 차 들어왔지만 I'm just singing a funny little song. I think the other one could have been right, actually. My car's navigation. Mr. Phone navigation, did you just betray me somewhat? You did, didn't you? Why did you take me this way? Oh my goodness. Not sure if I'll ever trust it again now. Yeah, well done, car navigation. You surprised me. You still got a little bit left in the tank. Wow, this area is really nice. It's just standalone houses, which is not that common here in Korea. It says, what? I can't go down there. Is that road? Oh my goodness. Down there? You gotta be kidding me. How am I going to turn around there? Goodness gracious. It's going to be a bit of a squeeze. It's a very narrow road. And a lot of the times in these narrow, short side streets, people just park in them so you can't drive through it. But I can see that this one is unblocked and lots of filming staff there. Wowzers. It's going to be fun. I'm going to have to call it quits today, guys, okay? I will try to read the remaining messages later on. Thank you for being on board, everyone.